We're going to talk about the purpose of the device BRIS and its possibilities, principles of operation. We will talk about contraindication. Then we will talk about test preparation, which include customer requirements, operator requirements, room requirements preparation, and also how to place electrodes correctly. Then we will conduct a live session with BRIS Express test. We talk about what we are taking and how to read it, and then we're going to do object testing, meaning that we're going to test if certain medication or vitamins are good for people. After that, we're going to do a bioresonance therapy with the same device BRIS. It's slightly different than in Trinity device. Then we're going to do retesting, meaning we do second test, and we're going to do visual comparison of the first test and the second test. That's the plan for today. For our members, later on in a week or two, we will be recording another master class for BRIS test interpretations of the results. It's a little bit advanced. So we're going to sit with the developer and talk and record that video for you, and also software installation. I want to talk about the purpose of the BRIS and what a device BRIS allows us to do. It allows us to carry out the testing process in real time. It allows us to visualize results and monitor the dynamics, so we visually see what's going on. Allows us to view the energy of the human body, like energy field and chakras. Allows us to see condition of the spinal cord, internal organs, and body system. It also shows you our friends, or infections who made us sick, like parasites, fungus, bacteria, viruses, protozoa infections, etc. It also shows us the deficiency in the body in minerals, vitamins, enzymes. It also shows us the latent psychological reasons of disease, or psychosomatic. We can observe the changes in the recovery process because we can do tests before, after, and compare them. It also allows us to evaluate the reactions of the body upon any kind of impact, like medication, supplements, cosmetics, jewelry, food, allergy. BRIS device has a testing plate where we can place the medication or supplements in that plate, as you can see it right here. And then we can test if that medication or supplement or jewelry is good for that person, or it gives a bad impact on him. Also, BRIS allows us to monitor the effectiveness of any therapy or after any physical activities. So we can see that that therapy was good for the person, or that activity is good for the person, or not that good. So in next slide, with about principle of operation. In our first webinar, I was mentioning German Dr. Wohl. So the Dr. Wohl had the device which was measuring the electrical acupuncture points, and the device BRIS, it has the same segmental testing method based on that, the method of the Dr. Wohl machine. The essence of electroacupuncture BRIS test is the measurement of electrical conductivity in biologically active points of the hands, feet, and head by using contact plates on the feet, hands, and head electrodes, which ones related to various zones, organs, and systems. That's how the principle of operation. And these devices are intended to be used by professionals, like in clinics, wellness centers, beauty salons, massage, physical therapy industry, or it can be used by any person at home, for friends, family, or for yourself, because of its electronic device, not medical anymore. Even though it has a quality like a medical, it is safe to use. Okay, we have some contraindication though. If individuals have electrical current intolerance, shouldn't use this device. Also, patients with acute conditions such as heart attack, epilepsy, stroke shouldn't use BRIS. Patients with implanted pacemaker, pregnant women, patients with acute disorder in cerebral or coronary circulation, individual with open wounds on hands, feet, and forehead, because this is where we put the electrodes. We shouldn't have any cuts or burns. And also if patient in a state of acute mental agitation, we should reschedule the BRIS test if that is the matter. Before the BRIS test, we need to know about some preparation of the clients, of operator, and also the room. And let me talk about it. So it is desirable for a client not to be hungry at the time of the test, but it should be 2 hours after taking food. So you need to schedule them accordingly. It is not recommended to drink alcohol before the test. Also, do not drink coffee. It is not recommended to eat any hot and spicy meals, chocolate, citrus, bubble gum, supplements, vitamin, and herbs. So we do not disturb the test results. So we see the true, how the person can handle, how he looks, how his energy looks, organs looks without those vitamins. We need to see the true picture. That's why. If possible, do not take any medication at that day, unless the person cannot do without the meditation. At the day of the test, do not take it. You can take it later after test. It is necessary to avoid any contact with chemically active substances like paints, solvents, or so on. It is advisable not to smoke the day before the test if it doesn't cause stress to a patient. If patient becoming very, agitated because he doesn't smoke, then, you pick what is not that bad, you just let it. But it is advisable not to. Women also shouldn't be doing the screening during the menstruation and few days after. The procedure of the segmental testing is painless, and it does not require any complicated preparation for the operator. So what is important? It is important to have a very good contact between the skin and electrodes for the device to work properly. Without increasing pressure, it just needs to be really tied up nicely. The forehead, hands and feet should be clean. Remove any excess sweat or makeup, preferably with just clean water, no any chemical soaps, okay? Do not use any gels, creams, or ointment to, instead of like water to make you think the connection better. That is not good. It will be, the test results not gonna show you true picture. Your clothes or your client clothes should be from natural fabrics. So make sure you have something natural on you and don't have any metals on the body, any, hooks in the clothes. Take off all the jewelries. If person comes with, like let's say woman with the bra, let them take it off. Maybe you have some robe in your clinic. But those things can also interfere with the BRIS test. Also, our client and operator, we need all turn our cell phones off or put it in the distance of the 2 meters from the testing area. Very, very important. Before the test, you need to wash your hand with running water, both of you, or hold your hands on some metals. What it does, it removes all the electrostatic voltage, so we will not destroy the device, okay? And in the same also reason, when we're going to use electrodes, try not to connect them together one to another. One time I did it and I had to send my device for repair. It doesn't happen all the time, but please be careful. Tell your client not to click electrodes. So operator, very important for operator to feel physically and emotionally very good, because we are in the same energy field, and our energy as operator can interfere with energy of the client and can change the result. Also, hands needs to be washed before and after. And clothes from natural fabric, I has already mentioned it, and also turn the cell phones off. Room requirement. The room temperature should be around 22 Celsius or 70 Fahrenheit degrees, and humidity should be 60–80% in the room. In room, should have any high voltage power lines, TV, microwaves, X-rays, ovens, ozone generators, ultraviolet emitters, fridges, cell phone and radio devices. Any of those devices will be 100% interfere with the test, so it's useless. Room should not be less than 16 square feet or 172 square, 16 square meters or 172 square feet. You know, it should be nice size room where our energy field can expand. The distance between computer and BRIS device should be at least 50 centimeters or 20 inches. The distance between BRIS unit and the patient should be around 1–1.5 meters or around 4 feet. The atmosphere in the office should be neutral, with nothing to annoy the autonomic nervous system of your client. The table, chair, and floor should not create the static electricity. It's very good to use maybe wooden stools or table or some materials, natural materials. And there should be not any unknown person in the room except for children's parents or operator. Okay, and now look how it's how you're gonna put the electrodes. So if you look on the picture on the left, you see that we have feet electrode under his feet, hands electron in his hands, and the head electrons on his head. The red wire everywhere, everything is red, goes on the right side. You can remember red, right, 2 R's, and the black wires goes on your left side. You know, all the electrodes with the black, we see we have black and red. So be careful, red is right, black is left. You see me in the picture with my client, we, you know, we do all these requirements 1 meters and before, Trinity connected less than 50 centimeters, and you plug it to the computer. And he is a device himself, and you can see the word head expressed as plug in for head electron, hands electrodes, and feet electrodes. And on the right side, you see from the top down, head electrodes, hands electrodes, and feet electrodes. The feet electrodes needs to be put in the way that the red one on the right side, the black one on the left side, we put and wet the bottom of the feet, okay, and put it on a plate the way that the toes are not stepping outside the plate. Okay, it's okay if heel goes outside if the foot is big, but the toes have to be all inside the plate. Okay. So we wet the forehead, make sure the hair is all out from the forehead, and we put these electrodes. The red side also goes on the right side, the black one on the left side, and we're going to put it close to the headline. Come closer. And very tight enough so it's not falling off. Tight enough. The women needs to have no makeup on the forehead. It has to be all clean skin. So we also wet the palms. And we put the electrodes inside the palms, the red one on the right, the black one on the left. And the electrode goes on the knees or table. It could be on a table and the top looking to the ceiling. The seat the person sit has to be very natural, no metal, either wooden or like this fabric. The person needs to sit with a straight back and he can lean on the back of the seat slightly. During the test, no cell phones around, not even our devices around, everything needs to be taken off.
To download the program 1.8, you need to create a folder and a new folder and call it 2002 on the disk C. The downloaded file, BRIS 1.8, or the file from your flash card, you copy and paste in the folder 2002 and the disk C. After this, you open the file BRIS 1.8, and under the file DB, you're going to download the file called Access Database Engine. Now we wait until it's fully uploaded and don't leave this page. And now you press OK. Now you select next folder BRIS 1.8. So with the right mouse, you open the menu and you click on the send this to the desktop and create a shortcut. Now go back to folder 2002. The same way we're going to send this shortcut to your desktop, okay? So you go to your folder 2002, click with the right mouse and open the menu and go send it to a desktop and create a shortcut. Same way. After this, you can close this window, and now we connect the device BRIS through the USB port with the computer. We click on the shortcut BRIS 1.8 2 times. For now, you just click on this arrow and pick administrator, and then you click OK. Now you enter the program. We're going to 12341, which in Russian says downloads, and click on it. And then we click on the second part of the screen on the first button, which says registration of this device. Now we put in the code here, the password for your device, which is located on the back of the device. And then click on the first button, which is for save. And then you see the window which says it's all successfully saved. You say OK. Only after registration of the device you can change the language. For this you click on select language and you change it to English or the language you need. And then in the first button you say save. This window is going to say that now you need to close the program and restart it again. Now we are exiting. Now we need to reopen it. We click on the arrow and pick administrator. And now as you see, it's selected language, it's English. Now the device is ready to do a test, and for the beginning of the test we need to connect all electrodes to the device. So, but before we start, there is one more thing, because this device is Russian and it has some Russian different date, and it wouldn't be reading it correctly if we won't do a change in the program system. So if you see, you look at the date and this format is not going to work. For this, we need to go to the settings and change some settings before we start. You just click on the button exit. So to change the format, you need to exit the program. Then you go into settings. And in the settings, you go to time and language. And then in time and language, you go into the last line. It says change date and time format. And then in the long date, you change that format. It was this before. You change it to this right one, which is date, month, and year. Region and language. Instead of United States, we put Russia. Time zone. Yeah, Moscow, St. Petersburg. Now we have to restart the computer. We need to shut off, update, and restart. Before the testing, you click on the name of the person, and then you click on testing, and then you click on measurement. If the skin is very good moist, then usually the test goes pretty well. If you see the message coming on the screen, the electrodes cut off, that means that the skin is too dry and you need to reapply some water. So right now the measurement is over, we say okay. So after the first test, you want to see the result, and for this you click on the button circular diagram. So when you click on the circular diagram, you see the perfect hour of the perfect one. To see the hour of the person we just measure, we click on the select measurement and then the time. Now you see the person aura, and you see that it has some deformation, and you also see that those things are like they are blue, and it tells us that she has some chronic conditions and depletion of the energy. So now we want to demonstrate you how with the therapy of bioresonance therapy we can change the aura from the treatment. For this, we're gonna go to a BRT. We have two modes here: machine modes, automatic or manual modes, which you pick up yourself. We always pick the machine mode, automatic, machine, up. So now the computer is picking up the specific program for this person, and after this we will be explaining if we should do a short therapy or longer therapy. So the short therapy is recommended for the people who you don't know yet, for the new clients, for the new patients, because we don't know the reserve adaptation in those persons yet. So in this case, the machine put for us 4 minutes for each meridians. We're going to change it to 1 minute each. The short time therapy you do somewhere from like 3 to 5 minutes. And then after this, you're gonna click start. So as you see here, the first one is not the meridians, it's a mode. And this mode was picking up for this particular client vertical mode. It's usually they put that mode, the computer choose that mode if person has not enough energy. And then the machine also pick 2 meridians, which is for urinary bladder and kidneys. And interpretation of those meridians, you can look at this chart. This program has more than just standard meridians. It also has meridians by fall, BRT, resonance therapy. Okay, it's an endogen therapy. It's an endogen healing therapy. And endogen means that the frequency comes from the person's meridians. Okay, not from outside source. After resonance therapy, we're going to test the person again. So we click on the page testing and then measurement. We're doing the repeat test with the purpose to see what happened after the therapy, how the person's body react to the therapy. If you don't plan to do anything else, you just need these measurements, and this point of time you just take all the electrodes off of the person. If you plan to do a testing, let's say of some supplements, or let's say of the crystals, then you keep the electrodes while we're going to test the supplements with this plate on the device. Now we're going to the window dynamics. There are 2 measurements here. This one was before 1907-17, and here we're going to put a second measurement, 1933. It's a time. We're comparing 2 windows of this dynamics. This was before the test and this was after the test. We're comparing them and see what happened with the columns. The height and the color of the column will tell us and what organ's situation is. If there is a green column, that means it's a normal range. If it's all kinds of blue, that means that the person has either some chronic condition or not enough oxygen. And the red column will tell us if there is any acute situation in the body, acute symptoms, intoxication. The first attention we should bring to the shortest column, like this one. And those the shortest one are usually like have a color of purplish. So we click on that column and we see which organ is affected. If you click on each column, the computer will give you information of which organ is affected and also the reason why it could happen to this organ. For example, right now it's saying that we have a thoracic duct flow and thymus gland, significant hypofunction, and why it could be secondary immune deficiency or high latent chronic infection. And in this situation, you can click on each column and see all the explanation of everything. We can also look at the same graphic in another perspective. We click on the for all organs, and now we see a different graphic. So it's the same information, but just in a different pictures. You're going to see 3 lines: red, green, and blue. Green is normal, okay, normal state. Red would be hypofunction, too much, and blue is a hypofunction, not enough. And the control measurements you're going to see in a yellow line. If you see that in this case, like yellow line go above the green line, you can say that the person has more like hypofunction in the organs. So the pink line here, it was before therapy test, and the yellow one after therapy test, control measurement. And as you see that the pink and yellow are the same, they kind of merge with each other. So it didn't make much change. It tells that the person has a low reserve of adaptation. And in this case, we to do another bioresonance therapy will be useless. So now doctor says take electrodes from her, and we're going to look at the all the measurements now and learn that. And she recommends to put on the person photonic crystal. So we measure her again once more and see how the photonic crystal helped her. The doctor now made a very good point, which I forgot about. She said never put hands electrode together. Also, the legs electrodes shouldn't be also together if the device is on. Why? Because it can destroy your device. Now we're going to go back to the interpretation of the test. Let's go to a circular diagram. Here we have a function of compare the measurements, and then we select the time before and after. Now you can visually see her aura before and after the test, and as you see that there is not much change, which tells us that she has a low adaptation reserves. So when you look at this 2 hours, right, before and after, you can see that the second hour is got a little bit like it shrinked. It got a little bit worse than before. Okay, then you look at the numbers, and the numbers in the blue circles, and compare those numbers. And as you see, for example, here was 40, here's a 44. It tells that it got even worse than it was before. That means that the person has some chronic condition, or in this state for a long time. To get out from this mode, we need to click on the compare measurement first. There is no other way to get out of this mode. When you look at the hour, look at the lowest numbers you see, and in this case you see 60. It's the lowest one she got. So we click on it. When you click on this number on the right window, you're gonna see explanation of what's going on in the body. For example, in this case, we can see like accumulation of the unrealized emotions, backward ideas, dwelling on the past, and possible changes or psychosomatic reasons. You can also see right here, and it could be insufficiency of breathing, pain, cough, decrease in the volume of breathing. So you can see here symptoms and psychosomatic. So the next thing we're going to look at the chakras. We click on the chakras, and you know that the chakra is also connected to the organs. We can click on each chakra, and then the menu you can see what descriptions of this chakra, what it does, symptoms of imbalance, colors, and other information. The state of the chakras you can see from how many rings it has. Okay, the 4 rings is the normal state of chakra. Less than 4 is the hypofunctions. More than 4 is the hyperfunction of this chakra. So you click on compare measurements, and you can see the chakras before and after. You don't have to do it, but you can look at it also. To get out of this mode, you also have to click on the compare measurement. There is only can be one characteristic of the black chakra. That one you're going to see this way. It's going to be just 1 ring, and after the therapy it's still going to be 1 ring. That's when it's a characteristic of chakra is black. So if you're going to see a black chakra on the 3rd, 4th, 6th and 7th chakras, those 4, right? So if they don't change before and after, and it's going to be to stay like 1 closed chakra, that tells that the person has a spell. Now let's go look at the spine. So every vertebra is also connected through the nerves with different organs. And by pressing on the body of the spine, you can see on the right side pictures and descriptions of what it connected to, with what organs or system it connected to, by clicking on the body of the spine. In the first column, you're going to see the name of the spine. We have like 7 cervical spines, we have 12 thoracic, 5 lumbars and sacrum, okay? And then the second column, you're going to see a deviation from normal or normal of each spine. It could be hyperfunction, like in this case. It could be hyperfunction, like this case, or it could be normal. We should bring our attention on the highest number on the spine, like this ones. And if we see something higher than 65, that means that the person has a serious deviation from normal and organs could be affected. The color of the spine of the column can also tell us some information. If we see in this case like a lot of blue, means that the person may have a chronic condition or the person is dehydrated, doesn't drink enough water. The red one will indicate that the person either has acute situation, allergy, or autoimmune disorder. So now we're going to look at the 8 system and organs. So when we look at the system, and there is 8 systems here, in this screen we're going to pay attention on the second column and the third column. The second column shows the risk, how much risk it has, the organs, and the third column shows the reactions and toxins and structural deviation of normal or organic changes. If it's before the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it shows that it's not pathology yet, it's just slightly changes. 5 to 10 is already a slightly change, not just tension, but already change in the organs. 11 to 20, if there you see the number 11 to 12, it's already a disease. Let's just again repeat. So 1 to 4 is tension, okay? 5 to 10 is the beginning of the disease, just starting. And 11 to 20 is a full-blown condition, or full-blown disease. If you see the number more than 21, it tells that the organ is already destroying. But we always have to look with different tests, because sometimes high numbers can be also shown to you if the person has a big intoxication in the body. So to measure it again, we're going to a client, it's already selected, we do testing, and then we click on measurement. So to compare what happens with the crystals, right, we need to choose the time. So the first one, we choose what we did for her, like the first original test. Okay, we put the date and we put the time. And then the right side, we put in also the date, but the time we just measure after the crystals. Okay, so we put before and after the crystals. You can see visually that she has a positive change after the crystals. Her aura is like more open, more full. And the numbers, those numbers are lessened. So wherever 10 minutes of the crystals we did, it says this big positive change she got. If you wanna also, you can look at the difference in the chakras, okay? Before, we can click before and after and compare her chakras. You can see her 3rd chakra and 5th chakra have more rings after the crystals. Now we're gonna go from this mode by clicking compare measurements backward, and now we're going to dynamics. Also we put the time before and after. So you can see that the dark blue columns change to a lighter blue, and they become like a little higher in height. That also tells that she has positive changes. Now we're going to window etiology. And also select the time. On this page you see general results on our test. Okay, so on the first list you're going to see this kind of information. 1 second. So you see overall indication, general condition of the time, okay, violation of what degrees. Then imbalance factor or pH, okay, if it's acidity or alkaline or balance. We also see here degree of risk in the basic systems in percentage for each system. You see the percentage of deviation. Yeah, you can see the lymph system and type of nerve system what she has, and central nervous system, what degree of depletion, and allergy background. And at the low window you're going to see the same information after the crystal. So when you click on etiology and the second page, you're going to see all kinds of infections in the body by different classes like bacteria, fungi, viruses, helminths or parasites, protozoas. If you see the number 45% or higher, that means that all that infection is active. If it's less than 45%, you're going to see the sign here, like you can see an example in the second window, which tells that infection it doesn't play that much roles at this time. Like you see here, 36%, less than 45.
So decrease.
And it says the obtained abnormalities are physiological in nature with their minimal severity and without obvious signs of pathology. So just like a minimal. Now we're going to look at the affected organs and the system, okay? We click on the third one. Here we see that all that infections what we saw before and what organ they affected. And the higher the number, the more infected the organ is. And the next page is probabilistic diagnosis is probabilistic. Okay, maybe. On the same page, you can also see the deficiency of the vitamins and minerals. There is also nutritional advice here. We're only going to put on nutrition. You see the product which is recommended and the product which you should exclude from the diet. Here we don't need to see in comparison, we just see at the first time test. Now we're going to reports. So first we put the right time of the first test, we select it, and then you do activate each window, okay, one by one. You activate it. Here in the rankings we put text view and to sort by the measurement. If you want to see in comparison your reports, then you need to pick the time of the second test and then click here and check mark the mode of comparison. And it will show you the time what you're gonna compare with. She doesn't recommend to do a mode of comparison in the chakras, spine and circular diagram, because in the reports you won't see much information. You're gonna just see the pictures if you do that. If you don't do that, that you'll see more information and like attachment of this chakra to these organs that will just open up more.
Okay.
When you work with Natalia as a doctor, she will always ask you not to even do the mode of comparison. Just do it without, but to give you a report of the one test separately and the second test separately without any mode of comparison, just 1 and 2. So you need to select a printer, and she recommends to choose the fax for the reason that in another formats a lot of information will be cut off.
Okay.
In this format you see everything fully. You put the check mark, always use this app, so it won't ask you questions again. The first one which was suggested. There is you can see that this report has 14 pages and this is the first list. So you have 14 pages, that one was the first page, and then you can just click on the arrow and see the rest of the report. Now you close that page, not just like minimize, but completely close it, and that report is going to be in this folder 2002. And from here you can send this file through the email or put it in a flashcard or wherever you need. If you want to finish, you can just click on the exit. If you want to do more therapy, you go to return to the testing page. You can also measure the all supplements, how they are good or not good for the person. To test the supplements, first you need to prepare all the supplements, okay? Then each pill or a capsule, you can either put it like in a plastic bag on a certain, separated, or you can also make like put the paper in the plate and put the sample here, okay? So we're gonna test, for example, one pill, and then we can test 2 pills or 3 pills and see what the optimal for the person would be. Before the testing start, let's say we put the pills here. So when you put it here, you put in this window what we have. For example, we put Al, Gazim, okay, 1 capsules. Every time you're gonna do testing on 1 capsules or 2 capsules, this picture of the person will disappear after testing, and every time you would have to come back and press on that testing again. If it's a liquid supplement, then you put some like a small glass container. It's the liquid, like 1 drop or a spoon. So now we're gonna measure her with the first pill, right? We click on the testing, and we click on the measurements. The supplements and how it affects the body, the best way to look in the dynamics here. Okay, so we go to dynamics, and this is the best chart to look how effective the supplements. So this will be the original test, and this will be the test after 1 class.
After you finish your test, it is very important to clean the device, because you're going to see a lot of black on that metal and that brass, and that is toxins which came out from the person. So you cannot, just use it for somebody else. It will be very on Amazon. Me personally, I prefer to use lemon juice. I buy it on Costco in bulk. It's very cheap. You put a little bit on electrodes, and I use this, surface to scrub it and wash it with the water, and they're going to be sparkling clean and all the toxins removed.